Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for experimental build 1 of update 105 of hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. We're going to start off as always with a quick sound check. Make sure speakers aren't up too high. Ah, wonderful. Oh, and man, does it feel good to have an intro with an update name in it. So what have we got for this week? Well, as I just said, we've actually got a public build today. Still super incomplete, and I'm sure a ton of stuff is broken, but you finally get to play with some new toys. So let's jump right into the first new really special thing that is present for this build, which is that over the course of working on the serialization systems that will enable Game Planner to function, I have finally, because I had to tear it all apart anyway, gone in and added some functionality for attachable weapons that have been long requested. That's right, attachable weapons with magazines. So we have here the M870, which this does not belong on a handgun, but I guess this is the railed weapon in front of me. Ooh, it does not want to attach to that one. Yep, not enough rail space. Let's see if it fits on you. There we go. Haha, just what a Desert Eagle needed. Fumble fingers. There we go. Beautiful. Load this sucker up. Wonderful. You can just grab this by the base, click the safety off. And there you have an answer to the question, how much more unnecessary could a Desert Eagle be made? This unnecessary. Wonderful. But we don't just have functional attachable weapons with integrated magazines. We've got them with attachable magazines, and the first version of one that I made, because it just felt appropriate, is our fictional KWG shotgun, which is now available in an attachable configuration. You can see it as a stubby handle there. You can load this sucker up, and we might as well grab the fresh drum mag that is now available for our Vector 45. Pop this into full auto, and now we have the most unnecessary Vector 45 imaginable. Wonderful. Wonderful, and far too much fun. Just for clarification, because a couple folks were confused when I was showing pictures of this, this is not a system for just arbitrarily attaching any gun to any gun. This is not a bidirectional attachment rail. This is basically the same systems that the M203 use, which is an attachable firearm, have been extended to be able to build new types. So this is an attachable KWG, which is distinct from the standard KWG. Note, there is currently a bug which I'm going to try to fix before pushing the build, where you can't actually detach these, and I'm not sure why. But as I said, it might be in this build tonight. It'll depend on whether I manage to fix it in between now and actually pushing the build. But there you have it. There are our new ridiculous possibilities for attachable firearms. The other big thing that is in this build is I have the first of the Game Planner scenes that are being built for the game in this build for you to try out. It's the simplest of them. It's GP Hangar. This is a super simple, super fast to run scene designed for you to fill with whatever you want. I have filled it for now with the default configuration of just a little bit of an IPSC range, just as a demonstration of how you might use it. This won't eventually be the default thing in this scene. This is more of a demo, but it's here in part to also let you know that you actually have access to, just in this scene, a preview of the toolbox, which you can grab, pull out, and play with our sort of default work in progress pistols. So those are here, as well as come on out into the scene and do a little bit of an IP Oh man, this is gonna be terrible trying to do this for you folks. Here we go. Do 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 do. There we go, and there we go. Wonderful. So yeah, so this is in here along with this new set of barriers. You can pick these. Let's see, are these interactable? Some of these actually require the pistols to move around, whereas I believe the 9-hole barrier here, can you just, yes, you can, this one can just be picked up and moved around manually. Can these on the edges? Nope. Some of the larger objects, just because they behave very, very strangely physics-wise when picked up, actually require the tools over here. Go grab these. Boop, boop, boop. So yeah. So I pulled this here and grab tractor. So I could just grab and move this piece if I wanted. Move this over here, etc. to redesign the course if that is what I wanted. Ah, wonderful. Boop. Put that there. So yeah, so these are in here just to get your feedback so far. I know some folks really want the ability to not just move but also rotate things with the tractor, and I am going to add that in, just a simple sort of like Y rotation, leaving rotato for more complex rotations. But yeah, and locker I still have some work to do on that one as well. But yeah, as I was showing, we have a 9-hole barrier in here. Oops, as I dropped my gun. Way to go, Anton. Come on. There we go. Wonderful. Good stuff. Good stuff. Whew. So yeah, so this is in here. Oh, and the last thing that is in here that I know a bunch of you have been waiting to play with, beyond all of the new guns, is over here in the Arizona range. The first of the new locomotion tools is in here. The hand glider is not quite ready. It still can't actually be turned off without a scene reset, and has some other issues with it. So I have just put the hand copters in and tried to make it sound a little less annoying. Etc. So this is in here, as well as some of the remade props, the new bottles that instead of when they're shot, they don't just like fly off at 100 meters a second when shot, and should be slightly less irritating. Well, that actually still does fly off a little too intensely. Huh. Yeah, that's inheriting too much of the force. Let's see if it does it on a ground impact. Yep. I thought I fixed that bug. Wouldn't be a devlog without a bug. Guess I'll have to put that one back on the to-do list. So yeah, well, let's jump out of VR now, and let me give you a whole bunch of other qualifications on the functionality of this build that are real important. Yo! So, as I said, there's a couple really important things to understand first about this build. One, saving and loading is completely disabled in this experimental build. To be able to triage this and get this out to you folks faster, I basically had to take an old version of my serializer and sort of like regraft it back into the game, because a whole bunch of the new serialization code is not done yet and it just errors. And so this experimental build is kind of like a combination of what is in 104 and stuff that I've been working on, and is super not done yet. So I've had to disable that for like 1 or 2 more weeks. So you can still play with the sort of the new tools in the GP Hangar scene. You can play with the new guns and things like that, but you will not have access to saving and loading via the new item spawner, either scenarios or objects, until I fix some things. 2, because of the fact that saving and loading isn't done, things that function via using the save load system are not 100% homogenously implemented. And so that means, like, if you put an attachable weapon on a gun and then scan it with the scan it with the thing flinger, it isn't necessarily going to say it sort of copy and regenerate that correctly. Same thing with the sort of the gun cases that I showed off last devlog. So just be aware, a whole bunch of that stuff is work in progress. I know it's broken. You don't need to post that it's broken because we're not even testing any of that yet. Second thing, because of a whole bunch of the architectural changes that I've done basically over the past 2 months, there are certain categories of mods that are going to break. And what that means is that unless you are a mod author going to see whether your things need to be updated, if you are running this experimental build, run it vanilla. Don't try, especially if you have like locomotion mods installed, anything that like saves and loads something custom. I don't know, probably another couple categories of things. They're just going to completely break. And I don't exactly know what form that will take in terms of you running, whether the game will boot at all, or if it'll just glitch out at you, or like air spam in a way that drops your frame rate. But please, that's the purpose of these experimental builds, is for mod authors to bring their stuff up to standard. It isn't for random users to just like load in and expect their mods to already work, which they won't in many cases. So yeah, so there's that. What else? Yeah, as I said, this is I know there's still a lot of stuff you folks are waiting to play with, and I have not put like a bunch of the underlying code for the event system is like in this build, but it's not accessible because the objects aren't present in this build yet. And so, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I have almost to the point where I'm ready to have you folks play with. But I've decided to sort of push off to update 106 because I made major locomotion changes here and I made other sorts of architectural changes that I would like to test in isolation first, get everything back to 100% functionality, make sure nothing is broken, and then move on to the next part of the scenario system for update 106. So this ended up just being the sanest way to do this because of just the scale of the changes and the scale of content that we have in production for them. So I hope those of you who decide to take an early peek at it enjoy it. And for those of you who are like, I've got 487 mods installed, and when I try to run vanilla, it acts weird or yada, yada, yada. Don't worry. Just wait another week or two, and things should be brought up to spec. And at that point, there'll be an alpha build push, which when it goes to alpha, that'll be the sort of like the modders all know what needs to be changed and have updated things to be in sync with it as necessary, and then we'll be able to move to full release just in time to do something fun for Halloween in October. Hopefully, I've got something small but cute and fun that I think you folks will enjoy, and it'll just be nice getting a release back onto main branch after this amount of time because this has been exhausting. So anywho, I hope y'all have fun playing with it. And if you run into, obviously there's category stuff that I said was broken, but if you run into something that isn't mentioned as something that should be broken and the like, hey, there's no mention of this in the change log, but X thing has changed. What? Of course, make a post in the bug report section of the Steam forum, and I will take a look at it. So hopefully it's not too broken. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.